Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the country. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of over there? Because over there, they don't care about you. They don't care about what you have to say. They talk down to us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're all really, really excited to be part of. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of the Herd talking about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, whether or not is this finally Lamar Jackson's year. I'm on the record saying this now for multiple videos, especially today. All the videos that I'm making today with regards to this is that the Ravens are the only team right now this year that I think is considered elite. Okay, that's not to say that these other teams aren't good or even great, but the Ravens this year are the only team that has shown that they are elite. And again, that doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to win or that I think that they're just going to steamroll everyone, but they're the only team that showed that it has to go through them. I mean, think about it. The 49ers played the Packers, okay? And the Packers are supposed to be trash, and the 49ers are supposed to be elite. They were originally, crowned as they're going to win the Super Bowl, their favorite, and they might have still had been. I forget where things kind of laid at the end of the season, or at least before that game when they played each other, which obviously the Ravens smoked them. And that game was incredibly close. The 49ers easily could have lost that game. And as I keep saying, that was more about the Packers losing that game than the 49ers winning. The 49ers did not show to be elite that game. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone wants to tell me how amazing Patrick Mahomes is. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs just nearly squeaked out a win against the Bills. Okay. The Bills have a decimated defense. Their defense is trashed. Okay, they were signing people up off the streets. They were running out of players in certain positions. I mean, it was just, they were held together with not even duct tape, scotch tape, and bubble gum. And they still almost won, missed field goal and a couple dropped passes. And the Chiefs were just able to get on by. The Chiefs easily could have lost that game, especially if the Bills were healthy and especially if Diggs suddenly didn't forget where his hands were. That game changes, and now the Bills win. So in no way did the Chiefs show that they're now winning, playing championship winning football games and this and that, and that the Chiefs are, the Chiefs of the old. They did not show that. The Ravens now, on the other hand, their game, it looked close for like a minute, and I'm sure at first you're watching this, you're like, oh man, is the Texans going to pull this out? Is, CJ Stroud going to, win this? And it really wasn't particularly close. They're like the only team, I think, this week that actually straight up genuinely covered this, really covered the spread. Maybe the Chiefs ended up because of the half a point, but the Ravens were like, no. People were talking about before, is it disrespectful towards the Houston Texans to be what was it, 9.5 point underdogs, 10 points? I'm not sure exactly what it was. And it was like, nope, they got that game perfectly because the Ravens are legit. The whole idea was that Lamar Jackson can't handle the pressure, which is such an absurd statement. Just because you haven't succeeded yet doesn't mean you can't handle it yet. And my argument is that Lamar Jackson was never really in a position to succeed in that moment, and now he is. It seems like the Ravens are a little bit more banged up than I thought they were, but I'm not, I want to kind of do a little bit deeper dive into that, but it really does feel that it's the Ravens' year. And I really think that they're the only team that truly showed this past weekend that they are elite.
Baltimore reminds me of a little bit is Philadelphia last year. So Philadelphia last year had this uniquely mobile quarterback, great coordinators, nice mix of young, old, good O-line, D-line combo. And it all gelled and got him to a Super Bowl. It feels a lot like that in Baltimore. Everything's lined up. The coaching staff, the coordinators are fantastic. They're healthy. I like the mix of players. Their quarterback is just simply hard to defend. I don't know what I'm getting in that Ravens-Chiefs game, but it feels like one for the ages. One for the ages. I mean, the Texans dropped 45 on Cleveland. They didn't get a touchdown. They didn't get an offensive touchdown. So it just kind of feels like, and they're not perfect. I mean, again, Kansas City got outplayed in the first half and then came back to win. I thought the Baltimore looked a little flummoxed in the first half and then dominated. But here's the thing about Baltimore. Is sometimes you get these years where everything just lines up. I mean, this team has played 7 wins versus playoff teams. Here's what's remarkable. 7 wins for Baltimore over playoff teams. 6 double digits. I've watched them crush Detroit. I've watched them crush San Francisco, crush Miami. This is a really good team. Lamar's on fire. The roster's on fire. Young guys like Zay Flowers, old guys, Roquan Smith. It all works for me. And one of the things I really like about Baltimore is that Lamar was a different kind of player. And I remember this when San Francisco had Colin Kaepernick, and Lamar's much better than Colin Kaepernick, but San Francisco and Harbaugh are like, hey, we're going to go all in on this, and we're going to kind of change the offense for this young guy. And everybody's got criticisms of Lamar and what he can't do, and Baltimore's like, oh, that's what he can do. And, you know, there was during the last couple of years when he got hurt at the end, there was questions about, are they committed to him? They just wanted to get the right number in negotiations. They weren't going to let him go. Good God, the guy's worth 10.5 points a game. You can make an argument. I don't even know if Patrick Mahomes is worth 10.5, 11 points a game. Maybe he is. Maybe Josh Allen is. But this team scores 28 when he plays and 17 when he doesn't. So they weren't going to let him get to the market. All right? Like they were going to pay Lamar. But I just love that there's such a symmetry between Lamar, who's always trying to get better, and Baltimore, who's always trying to make Lamar better. They don't worry about what he can't do. And by the way, there were some things early he couldn't do. There's not a lot he can't do. Is he as good as Mahomes from the pocket? Well, Mahomes is the greatest potential quarterback in the history of the sport. So I'm not holding him to that standard. But when he came into the league, he was kind of skinny. And then suddenly he wasn't. When he came into the league, he took too many shots. And now suddenly he doesn't. When he came into the league, he was very run reliant. And now suddenly he's not. Every year, Lamar fills a gap. Right? And we always think of Mahomes' chief rival in terms of talent, Josh Allen. Are we sure it's not Lamar Jackson? Well coached, great staff, unbelievable roster. They're blowing out good teams this year. Like,
and that's the thing. Their wins are convincing, and you know I know that they've had a couple close wins, or they people like to keep pointing out the Rams game. You know, get over that game, my God. And the Rams are a good team, by the way. So you know, again, just because you're an elite team or a great team or a really great team doesn't mean that means you're just going to beat everyone all the time, right? I mean, if the Josh Allen and the Bills play the Kansas City Chiefs 4 times back to back weekends, they probably split. They probably go. It's probably 2-2, honestly. You know, I mean, it really is. And it just so happens that yesterday we saw the game, we saw the version of that where the Chiefs won. And so when you're an elite team, those now odds skew. Now 3 out of 4, right? Now the record goes to 3-1. So it's like, can the Ravens lose? Absolutely. Can the Chiefs like step up? Absolutely. And again, football is such a finicky sport where all you do is just need the ball to roll in one direction versus the other, right? Does the ball get pinned at the 1-yard line, or does it go into the end zone? And now you're at the 20. You know, I mean, like all these things end up really, really mattering. So much happens. It's like the spot of the ball. It's like where the ref, you know, how many times you watch a game and they're like, ooh, that was a terrible spot. Or, well, that was a pretty healthy spot. And now it's a first down, or now it's a 4th down. You know, you just don't know. And those really end up mattering more than I think we realize. Especially because football, the scores, you know, can really change in a way that is not always representative of the game as a whole. But when you look at the Ravens, Texans game, I mean, you just saw that the Ravens were clearly a superior team. You just saw that the Texans were unable to face adversity or to maintain this tense game in the very beginning of the stages of like, what do we do? You know, like, we got this, we can lean on CJ Stroud and stuff like that, which again is understandable. They're a young team. CJ Stroud's a rookie. Like, it makes sense. There's a reason why these rookie quarterbacks, you know, aren't stepping up and just winning Super Bowls left and right. You know, I mean, it makes sense. And sometimes people also just take a longer time to develop. And I think that was kind of the case, especially with Lamar Jackson as a passer, because when you are such a freak of nature, athletically and physically, you're going to rely on that. Okay. I played with a lot of superiorly gifted athletes growing up. And when they were that elite and great, they didn't really work hard at other things. And I'm not to say that Lamar Jackson didn't work at all things, but they just didn't have to, you know, or if they did the things that they needed to do, but it was just like, I don't really need to like learn how to like really throw with pinpoint accuracy, because like when the field opens up a little bit, like I'm just going to tear off for a 24-yard run right there. And it changes. It does. And it's not until you get humbled or you realize, okay, I need to do more. I need to learn more. And that's just, you know, that's just life in general. You probably have experienced that, whether it was playing sports or whether it was in your job or work. At one point, you know this amount of information and you're able to do well, make money. And then you realize, like, actually, my life and job would be better if I actually like got some extra education or got training in something, you know, different, learning how to do, you know, whatever it might be. My brother was a great painter, was making decent money, but realized, okay, actually, like, I have this other skill set. I'm going to learn how to, you know, do garage work and install garages and commercial garages. And now I make significant, you know, he makes significantly more money. So it's just like, you're always learning and growing. And so I think Lamar Jackson got a lot of heat early on in his career, and very unnecessarily so, especially because just the roster was never elite or amazing. And it seems like this year they have the roster. I'm really picking the Ravens in this game. I'm debating on whether or not how close it's going to be, but I think as long as the Ravens are fully healthy and ready to go, and especially if Mark Jackson's coming back, Mark Jackson, let's act like I just didn't say that. You know, if everyone actually comes back and is fully healthy and ready to go, then I think the Ravens should win this convincingly. And the basketball player and announcer Mark Jackson will not be playing for the Ravens. That we do know. But what do you all think? I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Who do you think is winning this game? The Ravens or the Chiefs? Who do you think? You know, do you think Lamar Jackson is shown to be the best quarterback in the playoffs right now? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Please don't forget to subscribe. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly special, and I would love to see you part of it. And please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and the algorithm, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.